Mistake Makers. I'm Ryan Hawk, founder and CEO of Nighthawk Deliveries. We are a late night alcohol delivery company. Think pizza delivery, but booze at 2 a.m. And I'm here with a good friend, Michael Dial.
Hey everyone, I'm Michael Dial, music producer, social media consultant, and events organizer.
Yeah, so what are we going to talk about today?
You were asking about measures of success.
Measures of success. Yeah.
So what do you think in your mind? What is successful? What does that picture look like?
It depends. If it's just on a business level, then I guess
We're talking business.
Right. Business. You know, if you've set up a business or a service that has customers, clients, and you're profitable.
Profit then?
Yeah.
You saying profit?
Yeah. In its basic form, I'd say
Okay.
Profit for me is, ongoing profit is definitely the target.
Yeah. What about companies like Deliveroo that are worth a lot, invested in a lot, have yet to make profit?
They are successful in the service they run. The trust that the consumers have.
Yeah.
I think they're successful.
So do you think that there's a difference then between profit and value?
Yeah.
Because they're not profitable, like we're talking in the black
not profitable
kind of thing, but value.
Yeah.
Or even Twitter, right? I mean, Twitter, not profitable, but
massive case.
but value.
Yeah.
And they've kind of squandered that. I think. Well, I don't know the ins and outs, but I think
Twitter's
they should have got out or sold a while ago.
Yeah, Twitter's a very interesting case in this sense, because it seemed to have dipped like a couple years ago in relevance and importance.
Yeah.
The whole social media thing, but now with certain Mr. Trump or President Trump using Twitter,
that's that.
It's become extremely relevant.
Yeah, I saw something the other day that year on year, their user base is still increasing.
It's still increasing.
It's not actually declining. I think there's a kind of a consensus in the tech world where they better do something now to properly monetize it or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I've been on Twitter for a while.
I actually sent a tweet to Jack, advising him.
Oh, really?
as an expert, that he should probably. I just felt with Periscope, they own Periscope, the live video.
Oh, right. I don't know much about that, to be honest.
the live video platform.
Okay.
They own Periscope. So Periscope got big by itself. It was a competitor with Meerkat, which is gone.
Okay.
It's kind of gone bust. But Facebook Live or FB Live
They're killing it now.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
And so I sent a tweet to Jack. You can check my timeline. I sent a tweet to Jack saying that I think he should probably, kind of like fold the name Periscope and just bring it under Twitter Live.
Yeah. Why not?
Because when you go on Periscope, it tweets out to your timeline.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Just make the name redundant. Don't separate the two. Just bring it under one.
Well, and a lot of like average people would get I think intimidated by multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Even though Periscope is Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean.
But I've used Periscope, when I'm...
And Periscope is like a completely... You have to download it separately and
this it's a separate app.
Okay, but, so they need to integrate that into the Twitter, like.
But guess what? It is integrated, but they need to just drop
rebrand
the separation.
I think they worry too much about trying to brand an idea. Is that the way I want to say it? okay, so I think Instagram has like moments, right? And Facebook is live, and Twitter is tweets and things. But I mean, why not call it Twitter Live? You can't. There's no trademark on the word live. It's legally impossible.
Exactly.
And so Twitter Live could be the same thing as
It's simple. It's
you don't need to think of other like Twitter occasions or
No.
You know.
It says what It does what it says what it does.
Yeah.
FB Live, we know that is that live video function on Facebook. Facebook FB is the brand. That is the name. Twitter is the name.
Yeah.
So Periscope and drop that.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
I think operational stuff like that is where Twitter struggles. But culturally, they're very successful in just being that. I don't know, that social network where it's up to the minute
Yeah.
of what's going on in the world. You know, every time a celebrity dies, I find out on Twitter.
Yeah.
For instance, so
you can be really careful with that stuff. But again, that's the way of the world now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So profit wise, I guess you can be successful in more than one way. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, does this tie into what you would say reverse engineering your success?
Yeah, well, as my definition for sure. As we were saying, it's a lot of people. And when you ask kind of, various entrepreneurs and business people, and they will say, whether it's, a cash amount, like I want 10 million, I want a yacht, I want enough for my family, I want a vacation, I want value, I want to be well known, I want to be famous or infamous or things like that. My personal view, and I think it kind of underpins any other measure of success, is consistency. So businesses, to become successful, in my opinion, need to look at what is consistent to them, what is their kind of maximum output in terms of standard or production or whatever, and then reverse engineer that to come back to get to that place. So you really kind of think of the end first.
Right. And
then what you would do is you would separate all the things you'll need to maintain or create that consistency. So whether it's your hiring policies, your team that you build, monetization, all your revenue channels, marketing is a big thing, operation structure, legal, and then reverse it again, and divide it again. So marketing into direct or indirect or social channels or digital channels, HR into training, policies, culture, whatever kind of thing.
Now, did you do this when you started Nighthawk?
No. No.
So how did you go into that?
Well, this is, after kind of 10 years of fucking up, an epiphany hits you and you think, okay, maybe that's the way it should have been. I should have been thinking of this from the very beginning. I did have something in me where service and standards were always a priority. I'm not sure if it's a Canadian thing or a generational thing, or by my age.
60?
Yeah, 60. Jeez, not too far off that. But or it's just a personal thing. I've always, in every single business that I've ever worked in, I've always treated it like my own. I had standards. I never ever had to work up to having the highest standards. Where I lost it was that I should have kept that in mind and said, okay, so how do I deliver the standard that I want to achieve on X amount of people ordering. On all my customers. How do I expand and not compromise that? And a lot of my failures, I won't even say our, because I've been kind of steering this myself and for a while with the help of a few, more than a few, but I mean ultimately the responsibility is on my shoulders. But in cases where we've tried to expand too far, too fast, we compromise the service. I mean, and it's very, very difficult. So you need to be innovative. You need to think what is necessary to maintain that standard in order to be consistent. In my opinion, there's a counterintuitive notion in business where you have to hit as many people as you can, as quick as you can, in order to have a value and a brand, a presence, and a kind of an unbeatable, unstoppable force. But you find that the most successful brands started out small and grew small. Even if you want to take Deliveroo, right? Started in Fulham, Chelsea, made themselves kind of well known, kind of pushed out. They never actually said, oh, now we're in Richmond, now we're in East London, now we're in this. They really kept central until they had a backing of 100 million, right? But they didn't do like, oh, Deliveroo's in Manchester, and then the investors came on board. Other way around. And I heard once that it's better to own a street than a town. If everyone on the street is ordering from you. And this is where my consistency failed, is that on these attempts to kind of launch in different areas. I mean, if you've got capital, brilliant. If you've got just hundreds of millions, or even hundreds of thousands, where you can slam it and really kind of make sure this is what you call in startup land, the burn rate, right? So how much capital you're willing to kind of burn, your runway kind of thing. So if you've got, say, enough money to have those extra drivers, that extra marketing, that consistent marketing, but make sure that you're never ever going to fall short of your standard, of your consistency, then you've got a fighting chance. But I mean, that's, yeah.
So let's say you were having to restart your business again in some form.
Okay.
What would you do now that would be in line with your reverse engineering consistency theory?
Okay. Well, I'm hesitating because I'm thinking, what am I giving away here?
Similar thing, alcohol.
Maybe. But it could be anything. I really believe
alcohol and massage.
yeah, exactly. Who was I talking to? A friend of mine recently said, what is this? Butlers in the Buff. Have you heard of this? Where it's like cleaners, like maids and butlers that come dressed like almost chipped, like almost nothing, right? And basically getting your alcohol delivered like that. I think it's a bit too risky, but you definitely you'd make a splash for sure. Maybe as a PR stunt you could do that, but
splash.
Yeah, someone gets splashed.
So you would start off how?
I'm a very, very big believer in speed. I think that that the faster it's done, the better you are. I mean, I think you're almost unstoppable. I mean, there's very few things that if I could get delivered at a decent price, maybe not Nighthawk price, but like let's say if you for example, would you rather have your favorite pizza delivered in an hour, or a pizza that's not bad but delivered in 25 minutes?
25 minutes.
Yeah, I think most people would say
for a decent pizza.
For a decent, I mean, you can't. That's the thing. You can't go real shit. But at the same time, I think most people are willing to kind of. So there's a market for quality fast. There are certain things that just take longer to produce or to manufacture or to deliver or whatever. I mean, just as the nature of its quality or components or resources needed or things like that. But Amazon, look at them, they're killing it.
Yeah. So, for instance, now you've got your rebranding, you're starting again.
I don't
Talk about speed. Are you going for the workforce? Are you, for your service to be consistent and quick? Are you going for a good amount of workers, delivery riders, drivers, etc. first as an importance, or the area? A solid niche area for you. What's more important with a few good people to deliver?
Well, just based on experience, area is everything. The smaller your area, the easier it is to maintain, right? So, and also labor costs in a startup is one of the things that can quickly kill you unless you've got capital and burn rate and a plan. And don't forget that even if you do have capital, a wide workforce or a massive workforce is very, very hard to instill culture values. You're basically outsourcing. You may have one kind of labor department, but you might as well be outsourcing. You can't instill company standards and consistency from starting from 20, 30, 50, 100 drivers. You can on one, right? Because it's you and the new person in the room, or two, and you can say, listen, we're ground level, let's do our best, and that becomes kind of, and you start on a street, and then you work on the village, most people in marketing, if not all, will always say the lowest hanging fruit are your current customers. To be able to market to your current customers is more valuable, and it's even more valuable in terms of future investors. This is once again Deliveroo. They had such a large, faithful client base that the kind of the big boys who have kind of the hundreds of millions to invest want things like cost per acquisition or lifetime value. These are metrics that these guys use in order to kind of justify, and even if you go bigger than that, even if you go Facebook and Instagram or WhatsApp, buying decisions from these companies is down to your price per user. So when Facebook bought WhatsApp, they asked the question, how many users does WhatsApp have, and what is the price per acquisition? What was the price per user? And that becomes the value of the. It's very interesting. You know what? Just as an aside, if you want to really kind of look into something very, very telling, and it's interesting because these are big businesses. We talk about like Netflix and Facebook, but when you go public, so when you're kind of IPO level, you have to, through the SEC, SEC.gov or whatever, you have to file, I think it's called a 2K or a 5K or a 10K, I can't remember with it, but in your kind of opening, not statement, but like maybe a statement of affairs, you have to list legally every single risk you might see. And it's not to investors, it's not to the public. I mean, it's open to the public because it's public, but it's interesting. You have companies like Netflix, having to say very simply, there might be a better service out there. What if Warner's drops us? What if the power goes out? They have to, and it's really, really interesting to see companies like Facebook and Netflix and Twitter or whatever, all these companies that are massive. Even at that level, you get to a publicly traded company, you're already kind of massive, but it's very humbling when you look at what they perceive their risks are, and it's
like the worst case scenario.
Well, they have to list everything, the worst case to kind of the probable case, and it's very, very interesting to read something that's in layman's terms as well. It's not kind of legal jargon. It's just like, you know, I can't even get an example. It's just look up these, you know, just go to the SEC and look up the kind of the whatever their index is, and look at their opening thing, their opening statement. And I mean, and it will tell you about monetization. They have to have all that information. It's I'm not sure why more people don't look at that for kind of insight.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was outside.
I'll have a butcher's at it. Now, with all of this, do you think it's possible it can go into a business plan? Is this what a business plan is for? You know, is it possible to start at your most, you know, best case scenario for your business, operating with, I don't know, a staff force of 100 people?
Yeah.
You know, it's got an office block that costs this amount per year, etc.
Yeah.
Is that what a business plan is for?
I don't think it's far off. But there are some assumptions you just can't make and shouldn't make, especially if the business plan is going well. I think there's a few business plans that one should write, and one of the mistakes that I made is that I didn't.
You didn't write a business plan?
Well, I did in the very beginning, but it was really, I didn't know much about anything at that point. I still probably don't know much, but I think there's two business plans that you essentially should write. One for an investor, a bank, or however you want to capitalize it, and then the second one's for yourself and your team, kind of thing. And the second one can be that, you know, that kind of dream, that vision board almost. But the problem with that, you have to be very, very careful, is that you can't see the wood through the trees, as they say, right? Like, I mean, it's all well and good to have a dream and a goal and an end in mind, an even consistent end in mind. But you need to be realistic and focus on the now. And so when you reverse engineer consistency, I don't mean start from the end and work back a step or two, right? You need to reverse engineer it to the point of origin, like the big bang. You know, you are in your garage right now. You know, is your first step to buy a copy of Excel? You know what I mean? Is that the first step in your kind of plan? Yeah. So when you look at a business plan, I suppose you should start maybe like a tenth of the way in to your consistency. The things that are achievable right now. You know, even if it's before profit or before capital, even if it's before you know, money that you need to spend on whatever. You know, things of the mind, things like your belief system. You know, and
work ethic, how much time you can put in.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I mean, and that goes into even professional business plans. Like they will say, okay, well, what is your team? Who is your team? What's their background? How much time is everyone devoting to X task, right? What are their roles? What are their responsibilities? Who are they accountable to?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're everyone. You know, you're every department, and you're accountable to yourself. Put it in the business plan. You know, it all depends on kind of what the business is and what the team is and what the idea is. But you and a lot of companies. And I didn't do this, and I should have rewrite their business plan every 6 months. You know. And there's a shift in. So parts of the business plan will be usually there's what's called an executive statement or a mission statement, right? There's a shift now from doing those kind of professional kind of executive year mission statement. This is who we are. This is who we do. Blah, this blah, blah, yeah, whatever. To a passion statement. And so your passion statement is really like, you know, I want to be the industry leader in this, and we're going to achieve it by, you know, by maintaining the utmost kind of standards, and everyone's going to be happy. I mean,
so that's more like a dream statement, like a statement of you.
Yeah, but people, I think, are, especially investors, are very keen to hear that, because they it's like these stock phrases on CVs, right? I work hard independently or part of a team, or like, you know, I don't know. There's just a lot of just real shitty kind of stock statements that people make. It's like, I'm hardworking. Really? Okay. You don't need to put that, because I mean, you should be.
Yeah.
You know. But I want to hear. I mean, if I'm reading a CV, and someone says, you know, I really love people. You know, I just. You know, it means more to me that people are happy, you know, in all cases, and I have thick skin, you know. I can get on with the job at hand, you know, these kind of things. I mean, but in a business way, you might want to focus on it. And actually, my mom said something quite smart. She's a smart lady, but she says you should write a mission statement or a passion statement with your belief in your core values. You know, I want to conduct a business with loyalty, with integrity, with ethics, with, you know, whatever kind of thing, whatever kind of good qualities. And then what you do is, whenever you come to a difficult situation, or a difficult a new venture, or you know, just something that you're kind of, you know, what should I do? You can look at that and say, does this match with my passion statement? Is this an ethical?
Yeah.
Is it am I being loyal?
Away from that?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that answered the question. Was there a question?
I think you answered that one question.